Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Monetui, coach of the Baltimore Orbeetles, and I am bringing you guys our APA Week 4 team breakdown, team builder, whatever you want to call it. And also, obviously, after this is going to be the match as well. So, this week we are playing Leo, aka 6 Foot Hacks, coach of the Durham Druddigon. Definitely check out his YouTube link in the description below, as well as the rest of the coaches in the APA. Good friend of mine, very good battler. Pretty sure he won. What was that big league with all the people? The UCL, yeah, that he won the UCL one time. I'm pretty sure he's won APA before. He's got a few different league championships. Very good player, excited to play him, and he's got a very good team to boot. But before we get into that team, I want to preface this real quick by saying this week's game was played on Showdown. Essentially, kind of like how I mentioned last week with why my Dracozult wasn't EV'd exactly perfectly. The land trading and the land battling that we've been using so that we can get the Pokemon with currently unreleased abilities, and so that we can, play with a reasonable timer instead of having to play a 66 game on 20 minutes. Has kind of been struggling lately. Like, the land trading is down right now, as it was last week, and the land battling has been kind of wonky lately. Like, a lot of people have been trying it, and it hasn't been working all that well. So, I'm just going to lower this volume to just loud-ass song. There we go. So we're going to be playing this game on Showdown. It's just impossible for me to get my appropriate Pokemon. As you're going to see, we have some unreleased sets that we're going to be using now. And, again, land battling right now is just kind of wonky as it is. So even if I did have my Pokemon, it would be kind of dangerous to go through with it. But without further ado, let's get up into the team matchup. As you can see on screen now, Leo has Chandelure, Corviknight, Grimmsnarl, Haxorus, Mudsdale, Orbeetle, G-Max Orbeetle, I should say, Galarian Rapidash, Roselia, Rotom Frost, Seismitoad, and Zeraora. Now, his team is really good. There's maybe nothing on it that's immediately horrifying. Like when you see my team, you see like Dracozult and G-Max Melmetal. I don't think he has any of those types of mons outside of maybe like Haxorus and Zeraora. But his team is constructed really, really well. He has 2 ground types and a Zeraora, meaning that he has 3 Bolt Beak immunities on his team right from the get-go. That plus him having a Corviknight means that Dracozult is tempting to bring, but him having 2 ground types is just a huge problem, and it's going to be very difficult for it to do anything. As you can see, he also has, I see the G-Max Orbeetle. I know that. I know what it does now. I've learned. Okay, definitely gonna keep my Mandibuzz healthy for that, and we're bringing Melmetal this week. Spoilers. So hopefully, it won't do what Moa did to me. And overall, he's got very good bulk. He's got very good offense. A lot of them can do both at the same time. Like Mudsdale hits hard, while Mudsdale's a tank. Grimmsnarl can be kind of tanky. Corviknight is horrifying. Such a great Pokemon this generation. Chandelure is an underrated threat. Zeraora outspeeds my whole team and hits it very hard. He has a lot of hazard options with webs, spikes, T-spikes, rocks. So it's gonna be very difficult for me to take on this team. However, I do think I've built a team that can kind of take on his team as best as it can. So, without further ado, let's get into it real quick. Starting off, we have Physically Defensive, Calm Mind, Magikarp, Clefable. We did bring setup last week, but obviously it was overshadowed by Orbeetle ruining my day. But this week, Fizdef. I can take on the Haxorus decently well. Obviously, 2 Life Orb Poison Jabs will be able to knock me out, but if I can switch into the Dragon move appropriately, he won't be able to knock me out with the next Poison Jab. This Clefable is meant to take on the Grimmsnarl. It can take on Haxorus decently. Can kind of take on the Mudsdale depending on his set. If his Orbeetle is not set up like Moa's was last week, I'll be able to beat that 1v1. I can take on the Rapidash. I can kind of take on the Rotom as long as it's not Specs Blizzard or anything along those lines. I can take on the Zeraora. This is my best Zeraora check. Sandaconda gets 2 KO'd by Grass Knot easily, so I didn't want to bring that. Also can deal with the Seismitoad pretty well. I do also have Flamethrower, which will be able to hit the Corviknight, for example. If he's not Taunt, I should be able to beat it 1v1. Iron Head will not be doing all that much to me, and I'll be able to hit it with Flamethrower, which is going to be really nice, hopefully being able to pull a 2 KO onto that. I can smack Mudsdale for a little bit of damage, like I said. I'll be able to smack Haxorus, which is really nice. If his Chandelure is Choice Scarf and he is not able to trick me, I'll be able to beat that 1v1, which is really nice. Overall, just a very nice setup Pokemon versus his team, while also being a nice bulky pivot into things like Zeraora and Haxorus. So that's going to be Clefable. Next up, we have G-Max Melmetal, as you can see. Hopefully, we'll actually be able to get our G-Max off. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to get it off on Wi-Fi, but we are bringing G-Max Melmetal with the Double Iron Bash, Thunder Punch, Earthquake, and Toxic. Toxic is predominantly for his 2 ground types, being Mudsdale and Seismitoad. I can hit both of those with the Toxic and then potentially beat them 1v1, which would be very, very nice for me. This Mon obviously takes on Grimmsnarl very easily. It can take on the Orbeetle if it's not if it's Iron Defense particularly well, although I do have Toxic, so I can potentially Toxic it if it's not behind a sub, which would be fantastic. You know, he goes for an Iron Defense thinking he can take me on pretty well, and then I poison it, which would be great. Obviously, it takes on the Rapidash, takes on the Roselia. I can take on the Rotom decently well as long as it doesn't burn me. The biggest issues to this are obviously the Seismitoad and the Mudsdale. Corviknight can potentially deal with me if it's bulk up, but I do have that Adamant Iron Fist boosted Thunder Punch, and if I do go for a G-Max, I will be getting my Electric Terrain up, which means that my electric hits will be hitting Corviknight even harder. I also have G-Max Meltdown, which can be really nice versus Corviknight, because if he goes for a Roost, for example, and I hit it with that G-Max Meltdown, it acts as Torment. So he won't be able to go for another Roost, and I can go for a guaranteed super effective Max Lightning or Thunder Punch. Whereas if he had the ability to Roost, he could go for a Roost and take that electric type attack neutrally. Whereas now he doesn't have that opportunity, which is going to be really, really nice for me. Once I G-Max, I live a hit from basically everything. Chandelure, who cares, Corviknight, whatever. I have 3 turns of invulnerability with this thing, which is kind of what G-Max does, but yeah, it's gonna put the hurt on a lot of different things. Obviously, I had to be careful of being burnt by like Seismitoad, Scald, or Rotom Will-O-Wisp, but other than that, it does a lot of damage to his team. I just got to be careful about the Corviknight setting up on me and potentially using it too early versus Mudsdale or Seismitoad. So that's gonna be our Melmetal. Next up, we got Inteleon. Now this is a fun set that I'm gonna be using this week. We're utilizing Sniper this week. Snipe Shot, Ice Beam, Sub, and Focus Energy with the Scope Lens. If I'm able to set up a Focus Energy, I believe Ice Beam has a very, very good chance to crit, and then Snipe Shot has a guaranteed chance to crit, which is going to be really nice because with Sniper, my crits do, it's multiplied by 50%, or it does 1.5 times the damage, which is going to be very, very important. It boosts the damage that my crits do. So if I'm critting every time, it's going to be doing a ton of damage. And when you look at his team, Water plus Ice hits everything either neutrally or super effectively. And there are a few things that I can potentially set up on. He's never going to stay in with me versus Mudsdale. If I'm in versus Mudsdale, he's never staying in versus me. Or he's going for a Protect or something. So that would be a pretty easy substitute for me. Same thing, kind of similar versus Seismitoad. Obviously, that would be really nice for me if I'm able to set up a sub on Seismitoad as he goes for rocks or something along those lines, or even a Toxic. I can sub, go for a Focus Energy. My Ice Beams are going to be doing a ton of damage to everything, which is going to be huge. If he is Special Defensive Corviknight, Snipe Shot doesn't care. I'll be able to crit it for an easy 2-hit KO, which would be fantastic. Chandelure obviously getting O-Code. Haxorus takes a ton from regular Ice Beam. If it's a crit, it kills every single time. Orbeetle, no matter how many times, no matter how many Calm Minds he gets up, Snipe Shot critting through it will be doing a ton of damage. Obviously, he can G-Max and ruin my day with that, but I'm gonna... I have a Mandibuzz, okay? Mandibuzz is coming. I know what it does now. I'm sorry. I'll deal with it. Galar Rapidash, I believe, dies to crit Snipe Shot. Roselia takes, like, 80 to 90% from crit Ice Beam, which is fantastic. Seismitoad's 2-hit KO'd by crit Ice Beam. Zeraora goes down to crit Snipe Shot, so very good Pokemon versus his team. I can set up on a few different things. I can do a ton of damage. Really looking forward to using it this week. Now, excuse me. Next up, we got Gigalith. Just a quick little spoiler. I fucked up. Gave it the wrong ability. May or may not come into play later. But it was actually Sturdy this game when it should have been Sandstream. But either way, Stone Edge, Earthquake, Toxic, and Stealth Rock. Pretty standard. I needed a Chandelure switch in. Spadef Gigalith was my best option. It doesn't do as much offensively this week because, like I said, he has the 2 ground types. He has Corviknight, which is annoying. But outside of those, it does decent damage, and it's my primary stealth rocker. I'll be able to get chip on, everything that wants to come in, except for things that are running heavy-duty boots. The only thing I really see him running boots on would potentially be the Chandelure Rotom, though, which is kind of nice for me, because I'll be getting the chip onto everything else. Orbeetle comes in, taking 25. Take that, you asshole. And, yeah, that's pretty much it for the Gigalith. I'm also running Toxic, obviously, as a way to hit those two ground types, which is really nice. Obviously, Corviknight will be able to switch in, but I do have my other answers to Corviknight. One of which being my Haunter here. Not only are we running Thunderbolt to potentially 2-hit KO the Corviknight, depending on its set, but we are also running Trick this week, as we've been running pretty much every week. I gotta start mixing up my Haunter sets, but Scarf so far has just seemed like the best set versus my opponents. Sludge Wave, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, and Trick. Very good versus him. I can trick and cripple the Corviknight, which is really nice. If I trick that, then my my Clefable and my Melmetal just go in on his team, which is going to be really nice. It opens up the door for Gigalith a little bit as well. Predominantly, this is here to trick the Corviknight, but it also is really nice offensively because Ghost is super spammable versus his team. His only resist being Grimmsnarl, which obviously does not want to switch in on a potential Sludge Wave. Shadow Ball, 2-hit KOs like the majority of his team. And by the majority of his team, I mean, like, most of it outside of, like, especially defensive Seismitoad, maybe, like, a bulky Rotom, maybe Roselia, but Roselia can't really do much back to me. Obviously does a ton of damage to Rapidash as well as Orbeetle. Orbeetle being the big one that I want to be able to hit very hard. If he is not Scarf on Haxorus, I'll be able to outspeed that and hit it with the Sludge Wave or Shadow Ball, which is going to be really nice. I outspeed a Scarf Chandelure. I'll be able to knock that out with a Shadow Ball. I'll be able to get some nice chip on a Mudsdale. Just a good Scarfer versus my opponent, as it has been against my previous opponents as well. Just Ghost, super good this gen, and hopefully it'll be able to put in a lot of work versus my opponent. If I weaken things, they can sweep late game with that Shadow Ball. Lastly, the Orbeetle counter. Foul Play, Taunt, Defog, and Roost. Now, if my opponent is the Store Power set that Moet was last week, it won't be able to touch Mandibuzz whatsoever, and I'll be able to taunt it, Foul Play for some chip, go into something else to potentially hit it, which would be kind of nice. Like, something like my Melmetal would be really nice. I can take whatever it wants to go for and hit it with a Toxic. But outside of that, Mandibuzz is very, very important in this game. It can kind of take on the Haxorus, which is extremely important. I don't want it to take a hit from Zeraora, but it can potentially. Why did the music just stop? Oh, is that just part of the song? I apologize. Yeah, so I can take a hit from Haxorus, which is really nice. I can take on the Grimmsnarl decently. Obviously, I don't want to take a player off for Spirit Break, but I can if I absolutely need to. I can taunt the Corviknight, which is huge. Absolutely huge. And I can take on the Mudsdale pretty well. So, Mandibuzz is really important in this game. I have to be careful with it. I really wanted to run U-Turn on it. I hate running Mandibuzz without some sort of initiative like U-Turn. But I needed Taunt so that I can shut down the Corviknight in particular, and I needed Defog because he has a lot of hazard options on his team. His Roselia has spikes and T-spikes. He has rocks on his team with like Seismitoad and Mudsdale. He has Sticky Web options with Orbeetle before he G-maxes. So Defog was really important in this game, and I wanted to bring it because, a T-spike up versus my team, or even just spike stacking, can really whittle my team and do a lot of damage. Even though only 3 things would be hit by spikes, those 3 things are very important versus him, and I want to keep them around as long as possible. So, and also, webs are really bad for me if they stay up. Like, my Inteleon not being able to outspeed things is a big problem. But, regardless, that's going to be the team. Hope you guys are looking forward to the battle. It'll come to you guys in a few minutes. Or in a few seconds once I'm done with this little team builder outro. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. And I hope you're looking forward to the match, because here it is. Bye. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Monotui, coach of the Baltimore Orbeetles. And today I'm bringing you guys APA Week 4 against our opponent 6-foot Hacks, aka Leo. Good friend of mine, definitely check out his YouTube link in the description below, as well as the rest of the coaches in the APA. Now I should have a team builder out, whether it's a part of this video or if it's a separate video that came before this about what my team is. But for a quick rundown, we have our kind of physically defensive Clefable. We have our Pokeball Melmetal. We have a sub Scope Lens Sniper Intellion. Very excited to use that. We have our Gigalith right here. We have Haunter, which is Choice Scarf, obviously, and obviously is our Stealth Rocking Gigalith. And we have our physically defensive Mandibuzz. I can show you guys the team a little bit right here. We're specially defensive Gigalith. Quick little scroll through, pause it if you want to take an in-depth look at all the EVs and whatnot, but again, you can do that at my team builder. So, versus Leo, looking at him. I think what I want to do is lead with my... This is kind of tough. His team's annoying. I don't want to lead Haunter because if he leads Mudsdale, that's a problem. I kind of want to lead with Intellion, honestly. I don't want to lead with this. So, I think what I'm going to do... Yeah, I'll lead Intellion. If he decides to lead with the Zeraora... Actually... this is a difficult play. If he leads Zeraora, that's bad for me. I think what I'll lead Intellion. I don't mind. As he decides to lead with his Roselia. Not the best for me. However, I can just sub up and scout what he wants to do, because there's a very legitimate chance he just wants to get up his hazards. This set is really nice versus his team as well. Obviously, he has the Seismitoad, but it's not going to be appreciating crit ice beams if I am able to get the crits off. And obviously, we'll see how much Ice Beam does if he does decide to just get up a hazard, which I have a feeling he'll do. He might go for that or a Toxic, expecting my Mandibuzz to want to come in. And I do have Defog on my Mandibuzz, so I will be able to get rid of whatever Spike or T-Spike he decides to get up. I would imagine he wants to get up Spike. So I do a little bit more versus my team. Nope, he goes right for the Sludge Bomb. Also, I EV'd my my Intellion wrong. That's hilarious. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go right out into my Melmetal. There isn't much he can do to me aside from potentially Sleep Powdering me. I'm going to try and not highlight my Pokemon. I know some people complain about it, but... so I was initially this spread because I was leftovers and I changed it to Scope Lens, and I forgot to change my EVs back. Hopefully it won't come into play later, but either way. We've revealed that we have Sub. He went right for the attack there. I'm still going to go out into my Melmetal. Again, the worst he can do is Sleep Powder me. If he has it, and if he spikes, there's a chance he's not. So, nope, alright, he does go for the Sleep Powder right there. Kind of unfortunate when I do have the Mandibuzz that has Overcoat. I could have switched into it, but obviously, you know, nothing we can really do about that right now. I will just waste a turn of sleep here. Go for that. Obviously, I don't wake up. I'll click Toxic here, because I think there's a chance he goes into Seismitoad. Ice Beam is really nice versus his team. Which is definitely something I gotta keep in mind. I doubt he stays in, because if I wake up and get off a double Iron Bash, I could potentially knock this thing out. So I don't think he risks it to go for another Spike or a T-Spike. I think he would just go right out into his Seismitoad. He actually ends up going into Corviknight. Totally fine with me. I keep highlighting, I'm so sorry. What I'm going to do here is just go for the Thunder Punch. There isn't much he can do to me. Like, Body Press, he can Body Press if he wants to, but it won't be doing too much damage to me. As he goes right into Mudsdale on the Thunder Punch. Good play. I feel like he would want to go out into... I feel like he would want to get up his rocks here, so what I'm going to do is just go for a Toxic and whittle this thing down a bit. If he Earthquakes, I'll take it. Because obviously I'm very naturally bulky. I won't appreciate it very well, but I also don't want him to go for Toxic expecting my Mandibuzz right away. So we'll see what he decides to do. I believe should be leftovers on Gigalith, I believe. I think there's a decent chance I outspeed him, I feel like. I don't remember exactly. His Mudsdale's very slow. So he does go for the rocks. I am able to get a Toxic off onto this. That's fantastic. Now I will be able to go right out into my Mandibuzz and then just defog all these away. He might be thinking that I'm not defog because I don't run hazard removal as often as a lot of other coaches. But I decided to bring it this week, not only for the hazard stack potential that he had, with obviously Rocks plus Roselia, but I believe he had a Sticky Webber in the back that I prepped for. So yeah, he's just going to go right for the Earthquake. Obviously, there's the potential for him to Toxic me here. So knowing that, I could Taunt. But I think I'm going to go right for the default. Oh, he's going to go for the Toxic here. Yeah, so really wish I had done the other... I really wish I had taunted on that turn. I'll taunt this turn. Just so that he can't get up rocks again. That's very unfortunate. I'm going to have to keep this as healthy as I can for the Haxorus. He does go for the Stealth Rock again. Not a huge deal. What I can do... I mean, this being poisoned is still nice. Obviously, he does have the Corviknight there. Has Toad. He could go Toad now. I kind of want to go Haunter. But I'm going to go Inteleon instead. I don't think he Earthquakes here. If anything, he double Toxics, which would be kind of annoying, but it's not as bad on Inteleon. Yeah, I definitely should have taunted first, but I really didn't want to give him initiative if he were to switch, like, hard Zeraora. Alright, so he goes right into Corviknight. I think I'm just going to go right for a Snipe Shot. As he goes Roselia, okay. I don't crit, despite it being a high crit chance and whatnot, but it is what it is. I'm going to go right back out into Melmetal. Obviously, he has the potential to sleep me, but he does not. I skipped a turn there and highlighted things. I apologize. I'm going to go for the double Iron Bash. If he were to... It's unfortunate. Obviously, there was the chance that I were to wake up there. I do wake up here and do a ton of damage. This is an offensive Toad. This is a very offensive Seismitoad right now. I would expect him to go for some sort of ground move. However... Especially offensive makes sense versus my team because of the Melmetal. So I could see a Hydro Pump coming out here. The question is, do I make the Inteleon play? Because Inteleon's great versus his team. It's not amazing versus him. I think I do make that play. Because there's a chance you Hydro Pump or Surf, as you do. Excellent. And you are Life Orb. Okay. And now I just get the opportunity to click Ice Beam here. If I crit, obviously it'll kill. There's a chance it'll kill regardless. And he goes hard into Roselia, which will take it decently well. And I do crit, which is fantastic, because that means I can just knock him out with the next Ice Beam. I don't know why the music stopped. A video pause. Continue watching. Yes, I never said for you to stop. Thank you. But we knock out the Roselia, so he's not going to be doing any spike stacking shenanigans today. At this point, I'm honestly partially okay with letting Inteleon go down. Largely because there's a chance the Haxorus is Scarf or has First Impression, which means it'll knock me out. Seismitoad's very low. It's in range of Shadow Ball. Corviknight's going to eat one. Also have for Corviknight. I do have Trick on this. I have Thunder Punch and my G-Max on this. I have Taunt on this. I'm okay with letting this go down, honestly. And he bulks up. That's fantastic. This is going to do a ton. Yep, and I crit again because of the Scope Lens Sniper. We knock him out clean. That is fantastic. Obviously, it was kind of dangerous, that play. But, like I said, outside of a few other things on his team, this didn't really do all that much. So there's a chance he's baiting me into going for the Seismitoad play. So I'm going to sub here. He just opts to Iron Head. Fantastic. I'll Snipe Shot. Does a good amount of damage. Obviously, no crit is unfortunate, but I can just Snipe Shot again. No crit again, but he does end up just sacking. Not sacking necessarily, but he is going to go right out into his Corviknight. Or he's going to do this, whatever the hell this is. I apologize, this commentary is terrible. However, what I can do now... honestly, this Corviknight's pretty annoying for my team. But I do have Thunderbolt on you. And I'm fairly certain that'll knock you out. As he goes Toad. Fair enough. I can't D-Max. I don't know why I thought I could. But I'm going to go Clef. Do I go Clef, though? Because I weaken this for Haxorus. That could be bad. Obviously, I want Haunter to stick around for now. And I want Melmetal healthy. Yeah, I'm fine with going Clef. Obviously, he'll hit me with a hard water move. And no, he goes Corv. Okay. Sorry, excuse me. I keep highlighting. I'll Calm Mind up once. There's a good chance he just roosts here. Yeah, he just roosts. So I'll be able to Calm Mind up once. And I'll just go for the Flamethrower here. There's a good chance he has Taunt. Just goes for the Iron Head. I am Fizz Def, so I will be able to take that well. That doesn't do too much damage. But I can Flamethrower again as the Iron Heads again. Obviously, a flinch would be unfortunate. Speak of the devil. Depending on this role I live, as I don't, that is definitely annoying. However, I think what I'm going to do is go Melmetal, and I think I'm just going to double Iron Bash. There isn't much he can do to hit me. Double Iron Bash will break the sub for sure. And then I think I Earthquake on the Roost. No, he bulks up. Alright, I can't be messing around with this anymore. I gotta be going for my G-Max and start smacking this thing. Jesus Christ, I'm huge. Yeah, so there's the sub. I'm gonna max Lightning again. Even if he roosts, this should do a lot. It didn't do that much. Yeah, G-Max Meltdown, because that means he can't roost now. At least I believe how that works. And now I will be able to hit him with the Iron Fist boosted, Electric Terrain boosted, Thunder Punch. Nope, I can't, because obviously this. Alright, I gotta trick this thing. Ooh, I keep highlighting, I apologize. I'll go for the trick right now. I did kind of waste my G-Max there, which is unfortunate because I could have lived a hit from Haxorus. But I can still live a hit from Haxorus, obviously, and I'll do a ton of damage. And Mandibuzz still should live any hit, same with Gigalith. So, I kind of misplayed around this Corviknight a bit. Obviously, the flinch was unfortunate, but, you know, it's Iron Head. I was probably going to flinch at some point anyway. What's good is he can't sub right now because of the Torment, so I'm free to just go in a Haunter. And then I don't mind tricking because that will, yeah, I really don't mind tricking. So he Iron Heads, unfortunately. I will still go for that trick. Because no matter what I trick, it's kind of good for me. Yeah, this is my best play, because whatever he locks himself into is good. Even if it's Iron Head, I just go back out into Melmetal, click double Iron Bash a bunch of times. I'm kind of surprised the Iron Headed there, when obviously I have the potential to Thunder Punch, but there's a good chance he expected my switch out. I don't know what this song is, but I'm gonna fast forward it to another one. Thank you. All right, so he goes Mudsdale. I do get leftovers. I keep highlighting. I apologize. I do get leftovers. I'm fine with this. I've Taunt on Mandibuzz. I don't know why I didn't go out into that. That was not the best play of mine. So obviously he heavy slams there. I think I just roost up. There's a chance he clicks heavy slam again. Yeah, so I roost up. He heavy slams again. And then I go just out into my Melmetal. And then I just click the bash. Because you barely do anything to me. I knock you out. Sorry about that. So we knock out the Mudsdale. Fantastic. Yeah, so I need to remember, I have Taunt on Mandibuzz, which is very important for keeping the Corviknight in check. If I were Helmet on Mandibuzz, that'd be even better. But obviously I'm not. If he goes hard Corviknight now, I can still hit it with the Thunder Punch. Obviously it'll break a sub. If he goes for bulk up, not a huge deal. We'll see what he wants to do there. There's also a good chance he just goes Seismitoad. If he does go Toad, I'm not 100% what my play. I mean, it's probably to go Gigalith, honestly. Like, Gigalith doesn't really do all that much. And the stand isn't a huge deal anymore because I have leftovers on Haunter now. Like, it won't be chipping me away to kill me. What's nice also is if he goes Toad, that's a free Shadow Ball with my Haunter as soon as I sack my Gigalith. So he does go Seismitoad. I will just sack my Gigalith here. I'm also sturdy over Sand Force, which is hilarious, or Sand Thing, which is hilarious. I don't think it matters all that much, but it's kind of funny. I'll Earthquake here just in case he's like random sub Life Orb Toad, although I don't think that's the play at all. I'll get up Rocks. This it makes life a little bit easier. Oh no. I should have Earthquaked. Should have definitely Earthquaked. I just lost. There's no way this lives. Wow, I threw that pretty hard. I wanted the extra chip onto, Corviknight, but obviously I should have just gone for the KO with Earthquake, and also not being Sand is obviously huge. I'm not 100% sure if Melmetal dies to this. It's very, like, I'm max HP. And even though my SPDF isn't great, my HP is massive. Let's see. Yeah, Swim Sweeper, let's say he's timid. I do have a chance to live this. 86 to 102 if he's timid, and he, oh, okay. That never killed, by the way. Like, you can see Hydro Pump in the rain doesn't even do that much. That's, wow. Alright, well. That's, like, really unfortunate for me. Yeah, because, like, if we knock that out, like, Mandibuzz just kind of... Mandibuzz plus Haunter, I think, have a pretty good chance to win this game. That's really unfortunate. I don't know why he surfed over Earth Powered. I think Earth Powered does more still. Yeah, like, it definitely does. And we live that, obviously, but unless this is, like... Yeah, we have no chance of winning, essentially. Unless it's, like, min speed Haxorus and I crit it. But, like, that's annoying. Yeah, and he's just gonna knock me out with that rage. Alright, GG. Obviously, like, obviously not being Sand on Gigalith and clicking Stealth Rock was a problem. I just wanted to put Corviknight in range of Thunderbolt from Haunter. And I didn't expect him to be Rain. Obviously, like, he was Life Orb and whatnot, but I didn't expect manual setup Rain when I have a Sand Setter with Gigalith. Obviously, that would make sense for Strack Result and whatnot, but Damn, that's very unfortunate. I definitely played the end a little wrong. But either way, that's going to be week 4 of the APA. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Like I said, check out Leo's channel in the description below, and check out the rest of the APA. See you.